Hey, I'm Hannah Kim, and I'm a parkour athlete. I'm gonna take you through the wellness practices that I do so I can be the best I can be in the gym. I train 1 to 4 hours a day, about 6 days a week. My top 3 wellness practices that I do are meditation and relaxation, mobility, and recovery. I started parkour after I turned 30 and after I had 3 kids, and I think it was a really good outlet for me to feel like myself again. I used to be a personal trainer, I used to be an athlete, I used to swim D1, and then all of a sudden I was a stay-at-home mom. I didn't do anything for myself, so I think parkour gave me that spark again where it felt like I owned my body. My body is mine. I can do things and I have my own goals.
Good morning, it's a little before 7.
I usually wake up around 6:45. Before I do anything else, I open up the curtains. I just love how the sun comes into my room. And then I have the yoga mat always on the ground. Sometimes it could just be like 40 seconds to 2 minutes. I'll just do simple movements that are like chest openers. I tend to sleep curled in sometimes. So it just feels good to open up the body, open up the hips. So breakfast, if I'm feeling kind of full, then I'll just wake up, drink a lot of water. I might have a little coffee. If I wake up and I'm even just a little bit hungry, then I tend to go to leftover dinners.
You have leftover corn grits, just sausages, and asparagus in there.
So after breakfast, usually I tend to the kids, I drop them off at school or summer camp. Sometimes, depending on the day, I'll just make sure I have no option to go walk into my house. So I'll literally go straight from the garage to the garage. I have to trick my brain sometimes if I'm feeling lazy because I am lazy.
I'm going into the spare garage. This is the gym that I had the people at Motive Movement make me.
Some of the basic and easy moves that I'm working on are like rail walking. So there's rails that are up high in my gym that's anywhere from 4 feet to 10 feet up in the air. If you have rails that are really low to the ground, you can just work on the accuracy of your feet placement so that when you do get up to height, you know that you can do it and you know that you won't slip out. In a parkour competition, there's 3 different things. So there's style, skill, and speed. Speed, there's red flags, yellow flags, go left of this, right of this, and just go as fast as you can, and they time you. The skill, a lot of times the first round, there'll be 20 different things around the gym, and it's either you did it or you didn't. So you get check mark if you made this jump to a leap, or you did a cat back, or you did a lache, throwing yourself from a bar to landing into a bar. So there's all these different movements. Then there's style. Style is usually ex-gymnasts that do twists, flips, using the bars, going off the box, things like that. I was not a gymnast. I am just learning flips in my 30s, which is totally different from learning as a child because I have a fully developed brain that is constantly thinking of all the things that can go wrong. So it's taken me a long time to commit and to get to do flips, but I am happy to say that now I'm doing lines with flips in them, and it's really gratifying. So line and parkour is basically a bunch of different movements connected together. You might have a move 1 that's easy for you to do, a move 2 that's easy for you to do, a move 3 that's easy for you to do, but for some reason, when you put them all together, it becomes hard. Usually that's because you have to think about how many steps you have to take in between each one. You don't want to take too many. Then you have to angle yourself the right way. You have to make sure that you're propped the right way, you're facing the right way. So it makes it a lot harder to make this line a flow. And a flow is basically just how it sounds. Like you want to be like water. You want to make it look smooth. So I have 2 competitions coming up. I'm making sure that I'm working on basic movements, I guess, and just making sure that I feel more confident in it. If you had to pick one movement that defined parkour, it might be the Kong, where you run up, there's an obstacle of some sort in front of you, and then you throw your hands on it, your feet never touch, and then you land on the other side, keep on running, whatnot. I actually don't do Kongs that often, so knowing that I have a parkour competition coming up, I have done more and more Kongs. I very much am a planner and I love to know everything, especially when it comes to physical things that I have goals for. In my mind, I wish I knew like a year ahead what a competition would look like and what I might have to do. But unfortunately, you find out 5 minutes before the competition starts. They go, okay, so this is what you have to do. And then the anxiety sets in. I need to learn how to believe in myself a little more and believe and trust my body. It takes me a while to convince myself I can do something. So competitions are a little bit tricky for me because first of all, I don't get to plan ahead. And second of all, I don't really have the time to tell myself and baby myself through the steps of, okay, you tried it a little bit, you can do it a little bit more. I literally have to actually really try from the start. And I think that's the best thing for me. Growing up, I was a swimmer, D1 for UC Davis. We trained 4 hours a day, every single day. I was very much like a very, very height swimmer, I would literally have to stretch before I did any sort of dives. I couldn't even touch my toes with my knees bent. So that's probably been one of the biggest things with parkour. You have to have flexibility, not only for injury prevention. When you're pushing off with a big stride, you have to be able to actually push your leg back, which means you have to have mobility in your hips. So for mobility, everything from using the Theragun to like start warming the muscles up. I really like the stick just because I can put it underneath my hammies and just roll it out. I don't really like any mobility work that requires a lot of energy because I'd rather save that energy for my workouts. So a lot of the days, Rudy, who's like my bestie, we either train together or he's showing me new moves or we might be filming each other's lines and things like that. Then I have Bob Reese, who is in South Carolina. He's at Motive. I see him once a week. And usually in that 90-minute lesson, he'll teach me one cool new trick. So my warm-ups a lot of times depend on what I'm doing that day. For example, let's say I'm gonna be working on Webster's, which is a one-legged back kick into a front tuck. Then I'm gonna be doing a lot of leg swings going back and forth, back and forth. If I'm gonna be doing a lot of, let's say, laches, then I'm gonna be doing a lot more shoulders than I would otherwise. So every time I walk into the gym at Motive, I actually don't know what I'm gonna be doing that day. So most recently I did a thing called a ginger flip, which you use one palm, push away the wall, and then you do a backflip off of it, which is scary because you feel like you're gonna run into the wall. He'll have me start by doing a backflip, making sure I land a certain position, and then I might practice jumping up and pushing my hands down. And then I might do that whole thing put together into a foam block, and then I might do that whole thing on a resi pad. Then we'll do like thicker mats, thinner mats, and then try to take everything away. So that's usually how the progression goes. A couple of the things I've done and learned with Bob Reese is like a back handspring, which has been super cool. Little kids and gymnasts make it look so easy, but it's like hard to learn, especially once you've learned a backflip, because a back handspring, you kind of have to like sit into it and lean back. So it's not necessarily strength-based, because if you put too much into it, then you just like jam yourself and your wrist into the ground. So that's why the coaching is so necessary and so important. It's so nice to have Bob right now to tell me, oh, this happened because your hips were too high when you released, or this happened because you released too early, things like that. So I don't really do on-the-go food too much. If I have like a ribeye in the fridge, I might literally cut that up into strips and put that in a plastic bag, and that's like my on-the-go food. Like I really like food, like real food. Actually, in college, my girlfriends used to make fun of me because I used to eat 4,000 to 5,000 calories a day as a swimmer. I would actually bring meatballs that I would make in a Ziploc bag when we go to the malls. I'm like, we'll be like walking around Forever 21. I'm just like popping in meatballs. And they would always be so embarrassed. But I mean, food, substance. The advantages of starting parkour after 30 and being older is I'm not afraid to fail. I'm totally fine laughing at myself and having fun. And I look at other girls and I get inspired by them. Whereas I think me 20 years ago, I'd have felt a lot more competitive. I probably would have, brought myself down every time I didn't do well or didn't complete something or, fell, and I probably wouldn't have laughed so much. But if you see like my Instagram videos, I feel like all of them are like me failing and laughing. And someone pointed out, actually, whether I fail or I succeed, it's the same laugh that I have. And I kind of like that. Oh my gosh, so much of parkour is mental. It took me a while to realize this. So sometimes in the beginning of parkour, it was so hard for me to do anything that was out of the comfort zone. It's really funny because a lot of times I'll be like, okay, I have to go. And then my coaches are like, oh, nervous pee? And I'm like, yeah, nervous pee. But really, I honestly think that it's not necessarily I have to go pee. I literally have to just like sit in silence by myself for a moment. That's actually what I used to do as a personal trainer. So when I was a trainer, I worked 6 days a week, and sometimes I had 14 clients a day. And I literally just needed 30 seconds of just peace and silence. So sometimes I would just go in the bathroom stall and just like sit and just like recenter myself. And then I'm like, okay, I can do this. I love to lay on my back and have like my legs all the way up and hands just like this, kind of like Shavasana, and just close my eyes and just not think about anything for maybe like a good 20 seconds. And then I'll run through the line that I want to do or the move that I want to do. And then it really gets me prepped and ready. So right now I actually have a line that is that I'm gonna be so excited to do. It's running a Webster flip, go straight up onto a block, swivel my leg around, and then do a backflip off that little block. So that's one specific line, but a lot of times when I'm working with Rudy, he's very creative. Like he does like really funky moves that you've really never seen before. So whether it's like silly movements, we just recently like both intertwined our bodies on top of a bar and we're just like flipping forward. Like things like that is like so stupid, but at the same time, it's like, you have to think so much about where your body is, the body awareness, and like utilizing your body in different ways, even if it's not for parkour. I feel like it's always so beneficial. So it's so funny because when I first started parkour, a lot of my friends were like, oh yay, you barely made that jump, but you did it. And I'm like, no, I didn't barely make the jump. I actually did it perfectly. So if this is a corner, in parkour, you don't want to land here. You actually want to hit the very corner of it, so that way your legs can take the impact as you rock forward. Unless somebody is running, landing and jumping out of it, if they're sticking a jump, they're always going to be landing on the corner. Let's say you don't make the precision jump, you still can tuck your legs up very high and still bounce back. I actually did a video recently where I was going to a wall, to a wall, to a wall, and I actually didn't catch myself. My body kicked in, I was so happy, and I actually pushed the wall away with my feet and I was able to land on my feet. Had I not done the bounce back, I would have landed on my butt or my back, and there was a wall right behind me, so the wall would have had big impact on my head, and that could have been very dangerous. So some afternoons I try to come into my room and do like some detox of the mind, relaxation kind of stuff. So when I get injuries, I literally try to get acupuncture right away. I am like a huge believer. So there's an acupuncturist that also does red light therapy. So I feel like as soon as I get an injury, I go in and my injury heals so much faster. So I've been starting to do rock climbing about once a week now. It is awesome for grip strength. My whole forearm looks like the Hulk with like the veins popping out when I'm done with rock climbing. There's a couple other things that rock climbing helps me with. And one is height, being higher up on top, and I'm getting so much more comfortable just, coming down slowly, just a couple steps, or just maybe one step, letting go, and then landing on my feet and practicing that kind of like, tucked under on the toes and then squatting and using my legs. The other thing is having to think about where my hand's gonna go and having to think where my feet is gonna go and constantly working on that in the body awareness. Knowing how long my leg is and knowing how long it can reach is very much so in the same line of parkour, where if you reach this much, you can go there. And then now if you put this much velocity, then you can definitely make it there. I just discovered a new tea place, which I'm super excited about. So I just got like this peppermint herbal tea. When I have like a free 30 minutes where I'm actually at home, I will take like some sort of like nice little tea, or I don't know, like some drink that I love Olipop. It's like my like soda to go. I'll take like a little treat and then I'll like sit down with a yoga mat. I will just like literally lay there in Shavasana and just relax and just be. So the way that my brain works when I learn new moves, and a lot of times they're scary and hard to commit to and they're complex to me, is that I need to literally just like step away from it all and just like close my eyes and just process what I just learned. If I don't take that time and I just keep on going through my day, then it's not until like night when I'm sleeping where my brain is actually working out those moves again. I'm definitely getting injured a lot less now. Knock on wood, I'm so excited. My skills have definitely improved and my bail techniques have actually improved. My body knows what to do now. At the gym, I'm working with ladders as well as other things. And ladders are so important because it works on agility, it works on foot placement, it works on the mind-body connection and being able to move fast. Right now, I'm working specifically on my hamstrings and my butt so I can jump further and have the ability to do a run where there's actually one run specifically I have in mind that's outside at UNCC where I'm running on a wall basically, and I have to jump up in air and catch myself with my hands. It is quite the big jump and I can't physically make it right now. I know that by being in the gym and putting in the effort on very heavy squats and doing heavy power movements with my legs and utilizing that lazy hamstring and the lazy butt, that I'll be able to make that line. So it'll be really exciting when I am able to hit that line because of the work that I had put in. Hey, it's around 7 o'clock. It's time for me to make dinner. So for dinner, I like to have variety. I have some chicken drumsticks simmering. Rice just got cooked. A simple dinner will be a fatty meat some sort of vegetable and some sort of carb.
Oh shoot, I think I totally forgot about the cauliflower in the oven. Okay, perfect.
One of my absolute favorite things to do at the end of the night is my baths. So I think it's like Epsom salts. It has like eucalyptus, so it's like nice and relaxing, the smelling. I don't know if it's because of that, but I literally never get sore, no matter how much weights I'm pushing or parkour I'm doing. And for the amount that I move in a day, it's pretty awesome. Over my parkour career, I feel like I've evolved so much as an athlete. I used to be just kind of just give it all, just 100%, just go, 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 go. And now I think about what's the mindset coming in, the mobility that I've done. I think about more of the recovery. I think about the mind and body connection so much more. Parkour has been such an integral part of me evolving in my life. Also being a happier person because I'm able to believe in myself more, and because I trust myself and trust my body, I could feel just better, and I feel like I'm having fun constantly. So I'm happier, and I'm happier with my kids. I'm happier for everyone else. And I think that's just the best thing.
It's 11 p.m. It's time to go to sleep. Put a mouth guard in. Call it a night.